A beautiful morning, a white Christmas for many people today, and not only did Santa come last night, but it looks like Jack Frost did too, because we are experiencing some of the coldest weather we've seen so far, and I think we all knew it was going to come sooner or later. Well, winter storm warnings are in effect from northern New York to Maine, while across the Midwest, an Arctic blast is bringing freezing and blustery conditions. ABC's Elizabeth Herr explains this morning from New York. Well, during the holiday season, especially Christmas, we tend to eat a little bit more than we should. Dietitians say on average, adults should take in anywhere from 1,500 to about 2,000 calories per day. And there were several other crashes this weekend. A woman is dead in Washera County after losing control of her car and rolling into a ditch. The Wisconsin State Patrol says a pickup truck was going south on I-39 near Plainfield yesterday afternoon when the driver lost control and rolled into a ditch. Welcome back. Well, over the weekend, we told you about SpaceX's final launch of 2017. However, this takeoff caused more of a frenzy than previous ones. Well, there is some good news this Christmas for people living in California. Firefighters now have 70% of the Thomas fire under control. The fire has been burning for weeks, leaving thousands of acres scorched and nearly 1,600 buildings either destroyed or damaged. Officials say the fire should be out by early January. We're learning who is turning up for Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. This New Year's Eve, the show is inviting back Mariah Carey. Last year, a malfunction left the artist dancing on stage without singing a note. Well, it wasn't exactly the outcome Packers fans were hoping for this weekend at Lambeau Field. Guatemala is following the United States' footsteps, moving its embassy to Jerusalem. As we previously reported, President Trump declared the city as Israel's capital and announced he would move the U.S. embassy. Well, coming up, the story of how a family cat is home for Christmas after being missing for 5 months. Stay with us.
Wow. Yeah, he disappeared from his home July 4th and then was found this month in a Pepsi truck.
Of all places.
Yeah, in San Francisco.
Wow. Well, today we have good news. That cat is back home spending Christmas with his owners. The truck driver found the cat named Kitty Bitty and contacted the owners through the information on his collar. It's also interesting because my husband always checks every gift card when we get it online. I want to say, oh, why are you doing that? Because I just have, I guess, a little bit too much faith or whatever, but he always checks, so interesting to know. So the question is, if you find out it doesn't have a balance, can you take it to the store and get your money back? Charges are filed against the driver in last week's deadly crash near Shiocton, and we're learning more about what happened. Also overnight, just into our newsroom, a robbery at a Manitowoc pharmacy. Police say it happened just before 8:30 at the CVS on Reed Street at Memorial Drive. Starting with a major mix-up on an international flight, a plane heading from Los Angeles to Tokyo is forced to turn back 4 hours into its 11-hour flight over the Pacific. The passengers spending 8 hours in the air only to end up back in LA, all because one passenger was not supposed to be on the flight. All right, Steve, thank you. Coming up in the next half hour of Action 2 News this morning, we'll tell you about the charges being faced by the suspect in Friday's car ramming incident at Lambeau Field and why he says he was frustrated that day. Bond is set at $10,000 today for the man accused of ramming his vehicle into another car and chasing a man inside Lambeau Field. Last Friday, police say 40-year-old Che Vang repeatedly rammed his vehicle into a car in the Lambeau Field parking lot before chasing down a man, forcing him to take cover inside the stadium. The community center on Union Court in Green Bay is open from 8 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. The center says its priority is to keep everyone safe and off the streets this winter season. Winter weather can bring a lot of frustration out on the roads, but one man isn't letting that stop his fun. Welcome back. We know that while heavy snowfall can be pretty to look at, it can also make it a bit difficult to get around. Yeah, maybe. A new report this morning says starfish are making a comeback on the West Coast 4 years after a mysterious syndrome killed millions of the animals. In 2013 and 2014, sea star wasting syndrome hit sea stars from British Columbia to Mexico. Guess that's better than where we're at right now, if we're going to be positive.
Well, hey, we want to get rid of those minus signs, so we have to think positive to make that happen.
The U.S. is slapping new sanctions on 2 senior North Korean officials. The Treasury Department is now blocking them from making financial transactions with anyone from the U.S. Those officials are involved in North Korea's ballistic missile program.
Wind chills could be as low as 30 below.
Bundle up out there.
Yeah. Even middle schoolers and high schoolers who don't want to wear hats. Do it.
Good afternoon. I'm Kristen Allen. Kevin is off today. Just into the newsroom this noon, a fire destroys a house this morning in the town of Pittsfield. It It happened here at a two-story home on County Highway B. The CDC is calling the flu a national epidemic. This map here shows how it has spread. This is from early December, where the light yellow is local activity, and then the brown here is more widespread. Look at it now, and you can see all of the lower 48 states are reporting flu activity. In just hours, the federal government could shut down if Congress doesn't act. Lawmakers on both sides are playing the blame game as talks over immigration stall. A shutdown will have a ripple effect, including no Social Security checks, non-essential federal workers off the job, and no pay for military men and women. ABC's Kenneth Moten is in Washington with how close lawmakers are to a deal. I think we deserve it, though, after going through such serious wind chills several weeks ago. All right, a little bit of a warm-up before things get messy. Green Bay's Housing Authority says it's willing to make cuts elsewhere to save some of its affordable housing, something they say is critical in the fight against homelessness. The units affected are federally funded, which means the city isn't collecting as much in taxes from those properties. This is costing the city about $24,000, but Housing Authority staff found a solution, letting them pay the city more up front. Nearly 2 years after a Ledgeview woman was found dead in a field near her home, her accused killer is getting closer to trial. In just about an hour from now, the final motion hearing starts before George Birch's murder trial next month. Briefs that were filed in December will be discussed today. Birch is charged in the death of Nicole Vanderheiden. She was killed in May of 2016. A new study shows that repeated hits to the head may cause the degenerative brain disease CTE, even if there is no concussion. The research out of Boston University found smaller subconcussive hits can add up over time, even without a major injury. All right, thank you so much, Jenny. And thank you for joining us. Have a great day and a great weekend. We'll see you back here for Action 2 News at 4. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us and starting your Thanksgiving with us. I'm Kristen Allen. State troopers are reminding you to be extra careful on the roads during holiday travel. As we've been reporting, the amount of Thanksgiving travel this year is expected to be the largest in more than a decade. AAA says that 50 million people are traveling. That announcement came after a unanimous vote of the Major Defense Contractors Board of Directors selecting the Lakeshore Golf Course as the property site. The company will pay the city $3.5 million for 35 acres of the golf course. Milwaukee police released the dash cam video of a high-speed chase that hurt 7 people. We first brought you the story just as we learned it last Wednesday on Action 2 News this morning. Officers say they were on a chase trying to stop a stolen Jeep. Well, here's something you don't see very often, a house stuck on a road.
Yeah, take a look at what happened.
Firefighters have an extra warning for families doing lots of cooking today. 40 million fire extinguishers have been recalled because they could fail when you need them. Action 2 News first told you about the huge recall when it was issued earlier this month, but firefighters are concerned not everyone knows about it. The turkeys pardoned by President Donald Trump at the White House this week are now in their new home at Virginia Tech. A graduate student at Virginia Tech picked up a drumstick and a wishbone soon in Washington after the pardoning and took them to part of the campus called Gobbler's Rest. They're joining last year's pardoned turkeys, Tater and Tot. The 4 turkeys get round-the-clock care from the school's agricultural program and get to eat as much as they want. That sounds like a good Thanksgiving. We continue to follow the string of sexual misconduct accusations against various members of Congress. Yes, but one airport is helping to relieve a bit of that anxiety with some furry friends. At the Harrisburg International Airport in Pennsylvania, a group of service dogs were on site to bring a little extra comfort to those travelers. I haven't done that yet. I have taken a 10-hour car drive to Weirhold.
You paid your dues.
Yeah, you have.
New numbers reveal that the gunman who killed 58 people in last month's deadly mass shooting in Las Vegas fired more than 1,100 rounds. That estimate comes from Sheriff Joe Lombardo with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. Every day, more than 190,000 people in Wisconsin care for loved ones living with Alzheimer's or dementia. President Donald Trump is thanking members of the military, saying the U.S. military is, quote, really winning since he took office. President Trump spoke to U.S. troops overseas through a teleconference yesterday. Yeah, Los Angeles and Newport Beach had their hottest Thanksgiving on record. The temperature climbed to 91 degrees in downtown L.A. beating a record that was set back in 1903. This morning we were hearing from Senator Al Franken after 2 more women accused him of sexual misconduct, saying he touched them inappropriately during campaign events in 2007 and 2008. Yeah, it's amazing. Thanksgiving morning on Action 2 News. This morning, Jordan Betts talked to a couple in Brown County who wanted to raise awareness for the homeless through the Bay Highlands Mash Dash Run Walk. They started this family tradition of a short run 8 years ago and then decided to turn it into a community event as more and more people started to join them. And we're very happy to tell you that this year's event raised $4,254. Well, Black Friday shoppers are out all over the country right now. Here's video from Sacramento, California, where shoppers lined up early on Thanksgiving, getting ready to hit up JCPenney. Welcome back. In Wisconsin, even on Black Friday, there's no bigger doorbuster than beer. Craft breweries are getting in on the Black Friday fun. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Action 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Kristen Allen. Andrea Hay is off tonight. We're taking a live look at downtown Green Bay right now. You can see there are a little bit of clouds starting to roll in. Some storm chances might be on the way later. Let's check in now with meteorologist Patrick Crawford for a more detailed look at the weather tonight. Patrick. The annual Easter egg hunt at the governor's mansion was back on today. Governor Walker tweeted this video earlier today saying he and his wife Tonette had a great time. Earlier this week, the governor's office said the Easter egg hunt was canceled because of safety concerns as law enforcement continued the search for Joseph Jakubowski, who had been on the run since April 4th. Today in the Wausau area, a fundraiser is helping the families of the victims of last month's shooting spree. Mung Egg Roll of Wausau pledges to donate 50% of its sales today to the victims' family fund. A new notification system is up and running in the Fox Valley, working to cut minutes off the time early stroke treatment takes when time is the most critical. New at 6, Sierra Gillespie shows us how the system works. Thanks, Sierra. If you haven't filed your taxes yet, you only have 3 more days. This Tuesday, April 18th, is the deadline for filing taxes. Tax preparers are reminding you to double-check everything to prevent errors. Well, if your kids' Easter baskets are filled up and ready to go, you may want to double-check and make sure they don't contain some recently recalled toys. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling more than 560,000 water toys, and about 100 kids in the Neenah Menasha area got a jump on some Easter fun this morning. The annual Easter egg hunt takes place at Ohauser Park. After the whistle blows, the kids run out and hunt for the 1,600 eggs.
But tomorrow afternoon, the weather should be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll take that rain tonight, get through it, and tomorrow is looking like it's going to be a gorgeous day for
Absolutely.
Easter. All right, thank you, Patrick.
You got it.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.